Right, looks like I got a few people on. Actually, stealing this from the Tidewater Striders. Their president puts out a video every couple weeks, and so trying something new just to put some more information out about the club. Um, so if I looked a little dazed here and there, it's because I'm trying to figure things out. Never done Facebook Live before, so I think you can probably throw questions and comments my way too. Hopefully, I'll see them and answer any questions anybody has. Um, so again, just looking for additional ways to communicate with people. Sometimes social media and emails don't necessarily get everybody all the information about what's going on. So we'll start off with just talking about some recent events we had. Just finished the Devil's Den 10 miler, which was a huge success. We had some of the best weather I think we've had for that race, certainly since I've been running it. And hats off to Chris Kohler and Patty Kramer for all their hard work in making that happen. And then we just recently also had the FARC summer picnic over at Brayhead Farm. We get about 20, 30 folks usually to show up for that. I would be curious about other ideas folks might have for a summer activity that might draw more people to attend. We've talked about in the past maybe even doing a no, Chris, it's not. Oh, geez. Anyway, we've talked in the past about maybe even doing a Fred Nat group event of some sort. The only thing that's kind of stopped us from doing that, one, is there is some financial risk involved in doing that. Basically, you have to buy a bulk load of seats and hope enough club members are actually going to be interested in coming out to the game and buying the tickets. So the club has to take some risk up front. So if we did something like that, we'd have to know that there was a significant amount of interest. But along those same veins, I wanted to thank Jeff Haber, who recently stepped up to take over our social activities after Chris Acosta moved out to Minnesota after doing such a great job in that role as well. And the cool thing about Jeff, he started with our new runner program in January, went through that program, and then also did the intermediate program, and then ran the historic half. So he went from pretty much a brand new member at the beginning of the year, and now he's contributing as well as a social committee chair. So I really encourage everyone, and I'll talk a little more about volunteering later, but step up and help us out. The club runs a lot better the more people that are helping out and making things happen. And if you've got ideas about things to do and try, the best way is to get involved and volunteer. So some of the recent activities. So as far as upcoming, September is extremely busy. So this Saturday we have the Downtown Mile. That's a 6 p.m. evening run. So it's kind of different from any other event that we do. Not only the distance only being a mile, but also an evening event. And the fun thing about that is after we run, we hang out right there in the side street next to Castiglia's and have a little bit of a block party after the run. So that's always a lot of fun. I know sometimes it seems weird, the idea of going out and just running a mile, but for anyone who's gone out and tried to run a mile as hard as you can, it's just as hard as any other distance or longer event. Certainly, it tests me in ways that I don't get to try much as far as some of the other events that we do. And then the very next week after that is the Deuce Braswell 5K on September 17th, and that's held over at Cortland High School. That is a great, not just a race, but a very amazing community event. Um, we always have our couch to 5K folks that are training and have been training for the last month or so, and they'll run that 5K as well. So hats off to Lou and all those folks coaching those folks up, and we look forward to seeing them at the Braswell 5K. So that's probably one of our biggest 5Ks, at least up until this point, in the Grand Prix series. So a lot of fun, fairly flat course. You get a little bit of an uphill as you come back into the school, and you get to finish on the track. So that's always neat too. But lots of community organizations come out. A lot of vendors and tents and everything around the school. So a lot of good stuff to see there. So I definitely encourage you to come out. Both of those races are on Run Sign Up. You can go out and search for those events, or you can go to runfarc.com and look at our Grand Prix page, and all the Grand Prix races are listed there as well. You can also go there to get results. If you don't know, Vic Culp, he loves to keep track of race data, and he's been doing it, pretty much since the inception of the running club. So if you go out to the Grand Prix page, you can get access to all sorts of running data from years of races and events, and the Grand Prix in particular. So a lot of cool stats and information there if you were ever curious about that, and also current year standings as well. Then looking ahead to October, we have second year running. We'll be doing the Barley Naked Beer Mile up in Stafford. That'll be on October 15th. If you've never done a beer mile before, it's essentially you do run a mile, but it's in 4 laps. So you do a quarter mile. Before each quarter mile, you drink a 12-ounce beer. And some people come out and they go for time. We have some very fast people that did the beer mile last year, finishing under 6 minutes, including their drinking time. So it's pretty wild. But a lot of other people just come out to have fun, dress up and run, walk, whatever you want to do. And then right after that, they have Oktoberfest over at Barley Naked, and lots of food trucks and all sorts of activities over there too. So it's a fun day if you want to come out. And if you're not interested in doing the beer mile itself, just like any of the races I've already mentioned, you can always come out and volunteer, and you get the best seats in the house to watch other people participate in the shenanigans. So, and actually the very next day is 10K through history on October 16th. 10K run out at Spotsy Courthouse. It goes through the Spotsy Courthouse battlefield. So rolling hills for sure, but absolutely one of my favorite races, I think, in the series. I like the different distances, above 5K. So it's a lot of fun, and I really encourage everyone to come out to that race as well. And then our usual activities. We have the social run coming up on September 14th out at Red Dragon. It'll be a 6:30 p.m. start, at least for one more week. Probably into October, we'll switch back to 6 o'clock, just trying to conserve daylight so that for a little bit longer we can stay in the sunlight while we're running. And the next day on September 15th, we have our board meeting over at the Courtyard by Marriott downtown. So I think it's something we don't do a good enough job publicizing. If you're ever interested in coming out to a board meeting and seeing, how the decisions are made, and you want to contribute or provide ideas and opinions, any club member is welcome to come to the meeting. We just ask that you send an RSVP to info@runfarc.com and let us know. So we just want to make sure we have enough space for folks. It'd be a great problem to have if we had so many club members show up to those board meetings that we actually needed to get a larger space. But yeah, just let us know. You guys are all welcome to come to those board meetings. And then, of course, Saturday group runs. The big thing this Saturday is the big switch from our earlier run time to now 8 a.m. So every year after Labor Day, we switch to 8 o'clock. And then after Memorial Day, we go to 7 o'clock. So from Labor Day until Memorial Day, we'll be running at 8 o'clock, our usual spot right across the street from Hyperion Espresso. If you haven't been to one of our Saturday runs in a while, it is a awesome opportunity to come out and run, because there are anywhere between 20, 30 people coming out to run. We have everything from, of course, the fast folks that, you know, hit the ground and just take off as soon as we say go. And then we've got run walkers now too, doing 11 and 12-minute miles. So we really have pretty much the whole gambit covered. So whatever your pace, whatever your ability level is, you don't feel like doing 6 miles, there's folks doing 3. Just come out, and you know, we'll find some folks to run with you. So again, if you haven't been to one of those Saturday runs in a while, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good people out there. With that, the folks that have been coming out to the Saturday runs are probably tired of hearing this from me, but we actually did get kind of warned by the Fredericksburg Police Department that when you're running, and I think most localities have the same rule, but essentially if a sidewalk is available, you're supposed to use it. You're not supposed to run in the street when a sidewalk's available. Now, I get it, especially with the brick sidewalks downtown. You'll find me in the street as well. But certainly areas where it's safe to get on the sidewalk, we really should. And, you know, especially with some recent events, when it comes to runner safety, I can't drive this home enough, is run with somebody else. If you're out doing training runs, especially early in the morning or late at night, have a running buddy. Or at the very least, you definitely need to be very aware of your surroundings, and have a plan for if you do get approached by someone, you know, whatever that might be, either having, you know, mace or whatever with you. But we've had a couple incidents in the last few years, not locally, but obviously nationally, that have, I think, caught a lot of people's attention, that as runners, you know, male, female, doesn't matter. You need to be aware of your surroundings, and try to be safe. So next, Grand Prix. So we're halfway through the Grand Prix, believe it or not. 6 of 12 races down. And if anybody's not familiar with the Grand Prix, the premise is you run a minimum of 7 of the 12 races, and for however you place within your gender, you score points. And if you run more than 7, you take your 7 best scoring events, and at the end of the year, we award prizes for age group winners and overall winners, and just general participation in the series. And as a matter of fact, we started something new this year, thanks to a contribution from Lucky Road, to actually have a participation medal. So it's actually a 3-part puzzle piece medal. For every 3 races of the Grand Prix that you do, you get a piece of that medal. 9 races, you get the whole thing. So if you're thinking, oh, wow, I didn't know that, and I still want to do it, you're in luck, because the 2 outside pieces of the medal can still link together. So if you only earn 2 doing the last 6 races of the series, you'll still have a medal that can be linked together. So you know, you won't have the middle piece, but that's okay. It looks cool even with just the 2 pieces together. And that's something that we're hoping to continue. We want to continue that partnership with Lucky Road for the medal. And obviously, we can't thank enough Coldwell Banker Elite and their continued support of the Grand Prix series in general, which certainly helps us provide the cash awards and a lot of the prizes that we give out at the banquet. So Um, be on the lookout for the Grand Prix events and keep participating in those. Um, I touched on it earlier about volunteering and opportunities to volunteer. Our club has about 600 members now, which is a lot, and it's been very cool to see the numbers grow. Obviously that includes families and folks that are joining the club to participate in the Ospreys. So that number can be a little bit deceiving, but at the same time, I would certainly like to see more and more members get involved with the club in different ways, and there's a ton of opportunities to get involved and help this community grow even more and support everyone else that's out looking to get involved in running. So obviously, any of the races that we put on, or any of our partners out there that are putting on races, anything as simple as helping at packet pickup, being a course marshal, um, there's a ton of opportunities to get involved at races if you're not running, or even if you are running, you can do packet pickup the day before. You can help with cleanup afterwards. As someone who didn't understand either what went into putting on races until I became a race director myself, it is a ton of work. The folks that put these races on work for months to make it happen, and they spend a lot of very long days leading up to the race and after the race. So any little bit that you can do to help them out to put on these events and to keep these races going in our community is greatly appreciated. For the most part, any of the run sign up pages that you go to register for a race will also have a volunteer link, and you can just go right to run sign up and volunteer for any of those events. Another interesting opportunity we have coming up, Marine Corps Marathon on October 30th. FARC will actually be operating the beer tent as we have for years. If you aren't familiar, we have a partnership with the Marine Corps Marathon Organization. They provide us marathon bibs that we can sell as a fundraiser for the club. In return, we help them out with the historic half beer tent and then also the Marine Corps Marathon tent. So we need about 10 folks to come out with us on October 30th and just help run the tent in the Finisher Festival. So if you've never been to a Marine Corps Marathon and you want to kind of get the opportunity to see it without having to run 26.2, come out, join us. We'll put some carpooling together to drive up to DC, and we'll have some fun with it. So if you want to sign up, you can always send an email to info@runfarc.com. I believe the last newsletter also had information about it, but just email us. We'll let you know how to sign up. Additionally, if anybody out there has got some talent with social media and doing just informational posting on social media for us, I do a lot of that now, and that would be something I would love to offload to somebody who was into that sort of thing. And then also our website. When I came on the board about 3 years ago, I put a lot of work into taking the website from it was like a Google web page of some sort to a somewhat legitimate website, and update a lot of things along with that. But I think someone who had an app for website development could certainly do it much more justice and make it much more useful to the club if someone wanted to spend some time on that. So again, if anybody's ever interested in helping out, just reach out to us and let us know. Anyway, with that, that's kind of what I had. If anybody's got any questions, you can throw something in the comments. If not, I really appreciate everybody spending some time with me this afternoon, and I'm going to figure out how to download this video and pop it up on YouTube, I guess, for those that aren't on Facebook. But anyway, that's all for me.